Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thank you so much for joining me here. We're going to take another look at KuCoin. And before we do, we're going to take a quick peek at Bitcoin because I think it's really important for you to understand kind of what's going on up there. Just based on the fact that it's doing very poorly, we want to kind of anticipate the worst, right? I like to be real with you and not hype anything up. And in this sense here, I can tell you there's a strong chance we might break down to the lower quadrant here between 58 and 60,000. It keeps testing. It looks like it's trying to go, and we'll find out here soon. Good news is there's a tremendous amount of volume right at the range about 40 or 61,000, which is holding the price action kind of in place. But generally speaking, we might see it drop down a little bit. But if we lose that support, just bear in mind the price could tumble down to somewhere between 52.7 and about 54,000. That is a previous high just before El Salvador candle occurred on September 7th. But the bottom line is we're below both moving averages and will be for a little while. So we'll see all in all what happens soon. But my speculation is we'll see 58 to 60 as kind of a commonplace for the next week or two. All right, moving on back to KuCoin. So take a look here at Crow. Let's go ahead and jump right in. Oh, I'm sorry. If you're new to the channel, welcome, first of all, but thank you so much for joining me here. I'm not a financial advisor, though. I just want to let you know that I love teaching, though, and this is for educational purposes, and that's truly the design purpose. So if you learned something here today, I've done my job, fantastic. If you need to learn more, I've got a trading community. Check that out in your own time. Rates are increasing next month, so check that out, of course, sooner than later so you can lock in your rate. But the bottom line is I send out signals for every single trade that I take, and everyone's learning and growing together. It's an awesome, awesome experience, and that is my full-time gig right now. So I'm looking forward to spending some time getting to know you better if that is the case. Now, the one-day chart, pretty straightforward, right? Both moving averages are moving up. We don't need to worry about those for a little while. RSI keeps testing 70, right? It's trying to move above and below 70, which effectively just means that we got a support and resistance level right in between about 40 cents and 45 cents. Probably right around 41, 42 is kind of that sweet spot where the price wants to kind of trend closer. So simply put, price under 70 on the RSI isn't a bad thing, but it does imply that that's working as a resistance level, and it could keep the price down for a little while, right? At least enough, it could keep it down for at least enough time for the RSI to calm down. Because again, RSI is a relative strength index. It's kind of taken the strength of the volume in the past 14 days and effectively telling us where it's at, if it's overbought or oversold. It's still considered to be overbought, so RSI will slowly start to taper off, even if the price goes sideways. And at that point, once the RSI bounces off of 50, which is a common place, you'll see it jump back up. It did that multiple times in the last few weeks. Okay, so just something to understand there for Crow. So one-day chart still looks good, even though we got some bearish tendencies here as far as price action retracing. What's great, though, take a look at this. 50-day sub-moving average come in to save the day right around 38.5 cents. Bounced right off of it. So that could effectively work as a strong support level moving forward, reaffirming the support at 40 cents. I'd love to see that. Awesome stuff. And ultimately looking very good here on the 4-hour chart for Crow. And we're also right above 50 on the RSI. It's effectively 40 cents on the price chart, right? We see 40 cents right there, tested multiple times. And the RSI here has been tested multiple times as well. So in other words, 50 on the RSI is equivalent or equal to 40 cents on the chart. Right? It's kind of like that math equation, y equals mx plus b. Even though that has nothing to do with this, you get what I'm saying, right? Anyways, that's kind of the correlation between the RSI and the current price right now. 40 cents is reaffirming itself as a strong support. That's what I'm getting at. So looking at the 1 hour, let's go ahead and take a quick peek at the cloud, see what's going on. Yeah, no surprise, we're under cloud. Most things are right now, minus sand that just broke above. But at this point, Crow is below the cloud. So it's essentially considered to be a no buy zone or, a potential short position. I don't necessarily think we're going to just see Crow drop, 3 or 4 support levels personally in the near future. We might slowly fizzle down into 35 to 40 cent range. That's a possibility, but we got to lose a support level first. So we want to kind of pay attention to how that one-day candlestick closes. If we can get the one-day candlestick today to close above 40 cents, I think we're going to be looking much better than if the price were to come below that. So just something to think about. But bottom line is Ishimoku Cloud is not really super relevant at this point. It's just kind of letting us know that it's not really good consideration to take entry. But when the cloud slowly digresses and we see the price break above naturally, if it can kind of stay at 40 cents for the next day or two, then we'll get that breakout on the 18th, which is sometime here in about 48 hours, right? So I speculate the price is going to go sideways for about 48 hours, break through the cloud. Eventually the MACD convergence could swing upwards where the 26 intersects, or the 12 intersects with the 26 in upward fashion. We get that MACD convergence and the price comes up. That's less likely, but I think breaking above the cloud is more likely, and that's something we want to rely on for that, confirmation that you're moving in the right direction. Because again, taking entry in cryptocurrency or any type of trading, the key is to understand what the bulls are doing, right? And the bulls are the whales in this case. They're the market leaders. They are the ones controlling the market. We're not the ones necessarily driving the price up and down. We have a small impact on this. When they drive the price up and down, we need to be on the same page with them. So we want to float down the river with them. We don't want to swim upstream against them, right? Therefore, waiting for the cloud to effectively be below the price action is that confirmation we need that we're moving in the right direction. That's just an example, but that's kind of what's going on. So take a look at TD sequential. Let's take a look here. We can see, and this is why the price is coming back down. Not just because Bitcoin sold off yesterday, but look at this. We got a 9 on TD sequential, and it said, nope, I don't even care. I'm going to go up an extra, what was that? 20%? Yeah, 22%, somewhere in that range, without turning around. Because you're supposed to see a 9 on TD sequential, and the price is supposed to kind of consolidate or come back down, right? It didn't do that. It just kept going straight up, which is why we saw it come down and actually hang out on the support level here created by the all-time high at 9. Sorry, not all-time high, but that, at the time I guess it was. But when there's a 9 on TD sequential, it draws a line, and that line is essentially a new support level when it comes back down if it continues upwards. So you see that it kind of hung out right there at that support, eventually lost it, of course, because last night was judgment day, so to speak, for Bitcoin, and now it's kind of been working that lower tier of the support channel. So all in all, I technically see more bullish qualities and bearish qualities for KuCoin right now. Not bullish in the sense that it's going to take off tomorrow, but bullish in the sense that it's probably not going to drop off a cliff tomorrow. That's my guess. Now keep this in mind. If Bitcoin drops below 58,000, none of that really matters. Honestly, that's my personal guess because we saw today that a lot of coins like these, they're getting tested at specific support levels and they're holding, even though Bitcoin keeps trying to drop past 59,000. Now, if Bitcoin does drop below 59, 58 in that range, then we're going to have some trouble with coins like these. That's just my personal speculation. I think that's more likely the case. So just keep in mind, take what I say here with a grain of salt. We're bullish on KuCoin, big picture, macro for sure. Micro, not so much based on how Bitcoin behaves in the next 24, 48, 72 hours. This week will really tell us what's going to happen with the market based on how Bitcoin kind of either recovers or regresses, right? So that's why I always preach and tell my community members, and I provide constant Bitcoin updates with that in mind because of the fact that it's super important to understand how Bitcoin is performing. Because I know there's a lot of altcoin experts out there. I'm not trying to claim that I'm one of them, but I feel like I have a firm grasp on how altcoins move based on the sheer fact that I understand how Bitcoin's behaving. If you don't know what Bitcoin's doing, you're doing yourself a disservice. You have to learn what Bitcoin does and look at it first, which is why we always try to look at it before we analyze our altcoins, because there's a strong correlation no matter how you look at it. Because again, you can buy KuCoin with Bitcoin, right? That's why it's the industry leader. That's why it will never go away. It's the big dog, and that's why everything's reliant on it too. It just controls the market, even though it's pretty much a dated currency. Anyways, enough about that. You get what I'm saying. I hope you found benefit here today. Thank you so much for joining me here. We'll look forward to seeing you next video. If you're not currently a patron, highly recommend you register before the month is over, just based on the sheer fact that the amount, the monthly requirement is increasing, of course, and you can lock in your rate ahead of time. Just something to consider. We have limited slots available. Thank you again. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Have a great rest of your day. Take care.